Let the vengeance begin!
Howdy howdy, Sea Devil here, and welcome to an online ladder battle. With all this testing we've been doing with Dwarf anti-cav setups, I really wanted to get out and test it, and so I got on a ladder battle, and the opponent I played against after I picked the Dwarfs, he picked the Lizardmen, so good on him. Has a nice little build, but basically I'll go over the build that I have here. Now, we've done a lot of videos on Lizardmen, and we know that the Longbeards, just regular Longbeards with 4 chevrons, are a beautiful unit for the front line. They work fantastically. So I got 4 of those up in the front line. And for the back line, I really removed 2 regular Slayers from my normal build, and I put in Longbeards with great weapons, 2 of those, and miners, 3 units of just regular miners in the back line. So that's what I'm going to use in my back line. For my leadership, I have Ungrim Iron Fist. He just strapped down. He has nothing but himself, and I put him in with the Grumbling Guard, so he has that Vigor aura. And I also have the Dragonback Slayers in the back line because they're just too awesome not to include. And for my backline pressure, I've got Bugman's Rangers, 2 units of them, and the Uthar's Raiders. And of course, they have Marked by Uthar, which reduces missile parry by 24%, missile resistance by 22%, and armor by 30%. So they will help our Bugman's Rangers get through to anything. If you see my formation, and I've got my heavy hitters, my hammers, right down the middle. And if you see my basic formation, I put all my range to one side. Now I'm just trying this, and I might continue to try it. I don't know. Basically, I want to overload one side with all my ranged, and my whole other side is all hard targets. There's nothing in this back line, no piece of this you want. I mean, there's miners, Longbeards of great weapons, hammers. You know, what do you want to get in this back line with? I don't know. There's nothing in here you want. So basically what I've essentially done is I've cut my army in half, and this half is all hard targets I don't have to worry about. This half is really where I have to worry about my rangers. So for my opponent's armies, he's got way on the side, he's got 2 skink skirmishers, just regular skinks, not chameleon skinks or anything like that. For his front line, he has the skink cohorts, 2 skink cohorts out front, really to take any artillery fire. Really good choice. This is actually a pretty nice little army. And he's got 4 Saurus Warriors with shields with 1 chevron. They're a very good pick against the Dowie. Longbeards are just, with 4 chevrons, are just a little bit better, but that's a very good pick. And he's got 2 Kroxigors in the back line to support. So he's got 3 layers coming at me. And these Kroxigors, if you let them go, they will beat the crap out of you. You have to deal with them early and quickly. He's got a Saurus Oldblood, and really just an inexpensive lord, you know, rather than going all the way with Grimlock. And, you know, it's got Stand Your Ground, Amulet of Itzel, 66% damage resistance, Cold-Blooded, of course, for the heal, Frenzy and Fear and Terror, and he's got a Skink Priest of Heavens with Ernan's Thunderbolt for some magical damage, and a Curse of Midnight Wind. This is the big one. Minus 30 armor, minus 26 melee attack, and he can drop bombs. Now, in this far side, he's got a bunch of calves. So 2 Feral Cold Runs and 2 Cold One Riders. So these are one of the units that we tested against, the Cold One Riders. Remember that the miners did so good against? So basically, all I want to do is I just want to get this engagement going. So I've got my units coming up, and I've told my Bugman's Rangers, go after these Kroxigors. So I'm going to get shooting after these Kroxigors right away. I don't want to shoot at the skink cohorts or the Saurus Warriors. I want to put pressure on those Kroxigors right away. So I'm still pulling up to this front line. These guys are way off. I do see them. I still don't see these guys. So as soon as they get close, I just want to start the engagement, find my targets, get the engagement going, and I'm going to post up Ungrim right in the middle, and I'm going to get my hammers, and I'm going to push them down to the middle to try and overload one side. So as soon as I put some pressure on these Kroxigors here, I'm going to take my miners and just push them in. This is a bad engagement for me, the Saurus Warriors with shields, and I'm bringing my Dragonback Slayers to go up against the Kroxigor. So he has overloaded me on this one side, so I am going to eventually see that and try and bring my Longbeards with great weapons this way, and I'll push my miners up front to go after his lord, and eventually I'm going to push one of these other units back this way to sort of shift, because I have these guys shooting. Now I'm going to go after these Kroxigors here. I've got the other Kroxigors way down on my Slayers, but these Kroxigors, I just want to kill them quickly. Ungrim's over there putting a bunch of pressure on them. We're killing them really, really fast, putting a ton of damage into them, and you know, I'll get this done. And now that he's got into my back line, I'm going to chase him down here. We're going to take Ungrim back here. I'm going to take my Grumbling Guard back here, and my Longbeards with the great weapons back here. Now, unfortunately, I knew these guys were coming, but I didn't really pay attention to them. And I have my Bugman's Rangers on skirmish, so I'm just trying to skirmish away and get out of this position. I have my Longbeards with great weapons over here. They're going to come and reinforce. This is the beauty of the miners. So he's got his 2 skirmishers. I'm just going to send my miners after these guys. 325 versus 800 gold. Happy day for me. I'm just going to send them and forget them. These miners are awesome at that. I'm going to take these Longbeards and take them out of the front line. And as you can see, I just want to post them up here and just defend this side. And I've got my hammers going against these Saurus warriors. Now they're going to start pounding them. Ungrim's going to come in here, and he's going to start going after this Saurus Oldblood and putting the beat down on him. And I'm going to try and get my Bugman's Rangers shooting in here too against the Saurus Oldblood. So these guys are going to exchange pretty fairly. Like this, Ungrim's going to beat on the Saurus Oldblood. The Saurus Oldblood's going to beat on Ungrim. Now, unfortunately, this is the one area I didn't catch. These Feral Cold Ones got in on my Uthar's Raiders, and I couldn't stop that. So I do have my Longbeards coming back here to try and deal with them. And my regular Bugman's Rangers are dealing with the Cold One Riders. They're just going to hold and hold and hold. So I've got these Bugman's Rangers going to come back. I'm going to try and find a place to post up. You can see Ungrim and the Saurus Oldblood are fighting, and I've got now my hammers have gotten rid of these guys. I'm going to have to bring my hammers back into the line very quickly. But my Longbeards, just my regular Longbeards, 4 chevrons are holding up beautifully. Now I'm going to try and replace where I take my Longbeards and push them in this way and take these Uthar's Raiders and push them out. I just want to get them out and away. I'm giving this Saurus Oldblood a beatdown with Ungrim. Like, he's doing a good job. And these Longbeards with great weapons are going to come in here, and these hammers are going to come in here, and now we are really going to finish. He's got stand your ground going, but it is not going to matter. You just look at his health. Is just diving. He's got way too much pressure here. There's nothing he's going to be able to do, and we're taking him out very, very quickly. Now I'm going to try and do the same thing here. Grab these Longbeards and push him this way, and grab my Bugman's Rangers and push him that way. I managed to deal with these Feral Cold Ones. And we do have one Skink Skirmisher here fighting with this miner and this guy. We're going to just exchange some arrows with this Skink Skirmisher, but everything on this main line over here has gone okay. Like, we've been able to hold with our miners and our Grumbling Guard. Our Longbeards just have been holding against these Saurus warriors all game long, and we're chasing these guys down. Now I can bring my units back, and we're starting to route everything. Now it's really cleanup time. I'm going to bring Ungrim right back up into here, and going to try and shoot this Skink Priest. And this guy, I didn't see him coming back right away, but I'm just trying to release my Bugman's Rangers. I got 40 units still. Like, they're so good, and they're healing. I have 40 units still, and they're healing. I pushed these guys off. Now I can come back around and deal with these Saurus warriors. And now that I've got these guys going, I am going to give these guys a command to come on back into my middle. And I'm trying to shoot down this Skink Priest with Heavens. These guys are kind of come back. I'm just trying to reconsolidate and get everyone going. I do see this guy coming back, so I will issue these guys an order. Go get that Saurus Oldblood, and I'll take Ungrim, go after. You guys go after. We're all just going to collapse on that Saurus Oldblood. I have been able to exchange there, and then that is the battle. So, really interesting having all those miners back there. So, and the Longbeards with great weapons. Like, they barely got touched. You know, he beat on these Bugman's Rangers were basically beat on all game long, and he did get in and get the Uthar's Raiders. I didn't protect them. I should have shifted over an extra backline unit earlier. Like, had I shifted this extra group of Longbeards with great weapons over to my left flank to really engage these Cold One Riders directly, I would have done much better. You know, but mistakes are mistakes. The beauty of this, though, I had one group of miners, I think it was this one, with 27 kills. I just chased these 2 Skink Skirmishers. You know, I just said go chase them and forgot about them. Beautiful. Like, it was really, really nice. And, of course, the front line held beautifully. 62, 47, 37, and 103 kills. Now, Saurus Warriors with shields are very good, too. They got 19, 21, 39, and 90 kills. I think we got more than them, obviously, but we had some Skink Skirmishers to fight. And they actually, that one unit that got 90, they fought these miners here that only got 2 kills. So fairly even exchange there, although we did get a bit of the upper hand. And our hammers did very, very well. 96 kills, right up the middle, right up the gut. That's what they were supposed to do. Ungrim did really good against the Saurus Oldblood. And these Croc scores, this is the thing that we shut down. 6 and 8 kills. Like, for 2,000 gold, 14 kills on Longbeards, really? Essentially, Longbeards and Dragonback Slayers, That is fantastic, and that's all the Dragonback Slayers, Ungrim Iron Fist got in there, and our frontline units, and of course the Uthar's Raiders, giving them marked by Uthar. And these Uthar's Raiders, we know they're an essential unit. In all the testing they did, they are outstanding in this matchup, and they proved it again. How fast they kill with marked by Uthar, and their damage along with a couple of Bugman's Rangers, they just absolutely dumpstered the second group of Kroxigors they went after. And I switched targets once I had my Slayers on the first group. And, you know, the Grumbling Guard only 18 kills, but that really, they were just backline support, keeping everyone's vigor up. And the Dragonback Slayers, 102 kills, outstanding. We did very, very good in this fight. Chased off who I needed to chase off. They even got involved in some infantry, and of course the Bugman's Rangers. So very, very nice. I've really fun to play this, because I did a ton of Lizardmen testing back in January, where we had, I think, 7 videos or 8 videos on Lizardmen testing, so we can get sort of our essential units in this matchup. And the units that we got rid of very early on were Longbeards with great weapons and miners, because at that time I still didn't see them as Dowie cheap spear units, like the Dowie version of spears and halberds. I saw them as frontline infantry on infantry units, and they performed incredibly poorly against the Saurus Warriors. But we did the testing against these Cold One Riders, and they did outstanding, and they did outstanding in this, and against the Feral Cold Ones. Like, you know, that's a reasonable amount of kills for Feral Cold Ones, 15 and 21. Like, definitely decent. These Feral Cold One Riders, though, 25 and 17, I think that's holding them down. Very happy with that. And, you know, they did their job. And the beauty of having 5 units back there instead of 2, really that difference for me was the ability to just send one of these groups of miners after here, send one out, and not worry about what happened. I just send them out to get in the way, to chase down, to help support, to get in the middle, to have an extra unit. It was actually really useful, because my micro is not all that great, and you watch that game, I wasn't keeping up with my micro, and I made a couple weak decisions in that I didn't shift my units to my left flank fast enough when there was all 4 of those cav units are coming down there, and he overwhelmed me. But we definitely dominated that frontline engagement against the Kroxigors, because he had 2 units of Skink cohorts, 3 units of Saurus Warriors with shields, 2 Kroxigors, and his Saurus Blood in that frontline engagement, and we dominated. Really did very, very well. I'm quite happy, because all we had is our hammers, our 4 units of Longbeards, we had Ungrim, and our Slayers, and well, yeah, our Slayers, and that was it. So I don't know if that's, yeah, I think they had a numbers advantage, but we had the rock, paper, scissors advantage, which made a big difference. And we had very good missile support, where he wasn't able to get his missile support up to do too much of anything. So anyways, first of all, I'd like to thank Vincel for that great fight, you know, and you know, happy to see I selected the Dowie first, and he came with the Lizardmen and brought an interesting army. Like, this is a very solid army. I know through the testing I've done, 2 Skink cohorts are a must in this matchup. You know, I would say they're good for getting out in front and handling artillery and drawing fire from rangers and stuff like that. But once there's no artillery and they draw their fire, really their job is not to engage in the front line. That was their use is actually to go around the sides and try and get engaged with these Bugman's Rangers or these Uthar's Raiders. That's really what their job is after that. But you know, Feral Cold One Riders, armor piercing, this is like a good army. And you know, that we finished with what, 700. So we brought 1066, only had 366 losses versus 866 and 590 losses. So you know, really didn't lose any units. Well, I guess these miners, I don't know if they routed off or not. But most of our units have most of their health. He did get these Uthar's Raiders. It didn't protect him, and that was my fault. So anyways, love to hear from you. Thanks, Vincel, for choosing the Lizardmen and giving me a game. Really fun. I hope you see this cast. Love that army pick, and a really fun battle. And looking forward to comments down below how you thought that backline performed. I'm not the best general in the world. You know, I've said that many times, but I've actually found it easy to control that many units, because so many are fire and forget, including Ungrim. So I'd like to hear your comments. With that said, I guess that's all there is. So I will see you soon.